Our friends at Hunky Dory in England have created the Little Red Robin collection, and that's what Heidi has had so much fun playing with. And we ask you, why didn't you come play with us? Okay, the Little Red Robin collection. There are a lot of pieces, so let me just give you an overview. There is the topper set. Now this has got 106 foiled die cuts, 8 foiled cardstock and 8 printed cardstock plus this idea sheet. There's also coordinating Little Red Robin inserts. There are 36 of these. And there's also 30 sheets in the Adorable Scoreable selection that matches. Then we also have the Little Book of Robins. And this is, oh my goodness, you can see how thick this little puppy is. There are 144 sheets inside, and these measure 4 by 5 7/8. There are 24 designs, and you get 6 of each. Now, there's more. There's also this cutting die, and perfect for Christmas, just really gorgeous. And there's also some stamps, and let me show them to you. There is the Robin's Bouquet, and actually Heidi is using this. There is a boot with greenery and a little robin inside. I know it's a little hard to see these, but you can see them as she finishes her project. This is Robin's Winter Garden, and greetings, so forth. And then also Robin's house, so you can see the birdhouse right there. So that's a really close look. Thank you, Steve, for doing that. Then we also have, and he's going to have to back up to show you this. This is what Hunky Dory calls their concept cards. Now it's going to make the same style of card, but you're going to be able to make 8 cards in the set. And I'll show you an example and briefly how to make them. So that's what we have. Let's get into Heidi's very first project. And we'll get in closer so you can see this. Now I have to tell you, I've not seen this style of card before. Now it does begin with our 6.5 by 5 inch card, our standard card, but look what happens when I open it, and you see the insert, and there's the Snowfall Acetate. So it becomes an inside easel, okay, like that. And yet she's given us something to see on the inside with that insert there. And it's kind of ghosted back, which is really perfect with this Snowfall Acetate on top. So kind of an inside easel, if you'll give me that. So how do you make it? Well, you're going to start with the card, and you can go ahead and cover it with the tan Adorable Scoreable, and that's the solid that you just saw. And then we're going to do the acetate first. So this is the Snowfall Acetate, and it comes in a package of 5 sheets and then a bumper pack of 16 sheets. So whichever one you think you're going to, really be using in the season. I will give you a hint. Heidi's used it a couple of times. Now you're going to take that acetate and you're going to cut it to be 6.5 by 5.5. Now remember, the card is 5 inches tall, but we're making it 5.5. Then you'll score it, and Heidi really likes Hunky Dory's scoreboard, and this is what it looks like. I think you've seen me do it before. It has the bone folder attached, so you can take this, lay it down on the inch side, not the metric side, unless you know metric, and then simply go over to the 1/2 inch and score it. Just a really easy way, and then you're going to get your score line all nice and straight. So that's nice. Now, that's what you do with the acetate. Then you're going to want to put the extra sticky tape on that flap, and that's, you've seen that a lot, especially on Teresa's fabulous folded cards. Now, that acetate is going to go on the inside of the card, and it's going to be positioned like this. And that's why I did this out of cardstock, so you could really see. So it's going to lay there. Then later on, we're going to cover it with that insert, and that will cover up all that edge, which is actually kind of hard to see since it is clear acetate. So that becomes our easel. Okay, now for the front of our card, this is what she's done. So, as you know, in the Hunky Dory, you get the foiled die cuts, and you can see the one that Heidi has used, but you also get a foiled cardstock and a printed cardstock. Now, the printed cardstock that goes with this selection of toppers is this piece, and you can see that she has cut it down and glued it right on top. And that just creates just a really nice, interesting piece on the front of her card. Now she wanted to add some sparkle, and so she went with the thin line dazzles, and looks like this. There's a package. There are 250 thin line dazzles in here, and they're in black and white, gold and silver. And you can see the gold just right around the edge, just adds a nice finishing touch. Okay, now let's go into the topper sheet. So you can see this one, and there is an outside square, a gold square, and then this piece with kind of notches around the corners. What Heidi's done, and I don't know that we've seen this before, but the outside square, that one with the little blue border, she glued that down and she turned it on point so that it is going to be in the left area of the card, of course, because that little bird on the spigot is over on the right. And she glued that down first. Then she foam taped the centerpiece, this one, down, and then put 2 layers of foam tape onto that gold frame and placed it on top. So this is kind of recessed and the frame is popped up. So that worked out nicely. Now this little part here, have yourself a merry little Christmas. That is got 2 pieces of foam tape over here, but it's just glued on this side because it's going to rest on that frame. Now I thought it was kind of interesting as I went to grab the orange ribbon set, and I thought, orange? I wouldn't have thought of orange for Christmas, but I'm glad Heidi did, because it does a really nice job of matching with that robin's breast color, and so that works nicely. Now for the inside of the card, she has gone back again into the sheet that was on the front, and she has used the rest of it for the inside, but you can see she turned it this way, and that she's got a really nice border going on there. And this is another of the pieces from the same topper sheet, and this time she just used the center. So you've got the other 2 frames to use on another place. And this has got another of those longer greetings right here, foam taped up. And then the warmest wishes is just overlapping, and it just creates a nice visual effect of everything together. And like I said, oh, and then there's also a knotted piece of the same ribbon. And again, as I said, you're going to take the insert and you're going to glue it at the top just as it's shown right there. Okay, so that takes care of. So it's a really nice little surprise as you go inside that card. Really nice idea. And like I said, I don't think I've seen it before. Okay, we're on to our second card. And Heidi has also used more of the Snowfall Acetate, but she's also got some sparkle going on. So this has some sheets out of that little book, the little book of Red Robins, that thick one. And she has taken this image, as you can see, and she's used it exactly the size that it is, so she didn't do any trimming. But I do want you to see what's going on the finished card. So there is a piece of acetate on the front, the Snowfall Acetate, and ribbon has been wrapped around it. And as you look into the card, as I said, there's sparkly going on, and that's with our old friend, the Diamond Dust. So let me get started on this card. So we're going to start from the bottom up, as we usually do. And so again, it's our 5 by 6.5 inch card. You're going to take the blue cardstock out of the Adorable Sorable assortment and trim it to fit. The directions are down below in the gallery, just like you would expect. And then going to take this piece and we're going to mat it onto the silver cardstock. Now the silver cardstock is 8.5 by 11, and I've got it sitting in here in a sheet protector. You get 3 sheets, I believe, and it's a nice weight. And you're going to mat this onto the silver cardstock, leaving about 1/8 of an inch of border. Now, don't glue it down at this point because you're going to need to cut the acetate, and it's going to be the same width as the matted piece of art right here, and an inch longer. And then just like that first card where we did a ½ an inch taller, you're going to do a ½ an inch taller and a ½ an inch at the bottom, and then you're going to score it and then attach it again with the extra sticky tape on the back of this matted piece. And that way you've got the piece at the top and the piece at the bottom. Just before you attach the one at the bottom. Now, nothing is attached to the card yet except the blue cardstock, okay? So we're going to do the diamond dust. Now, if you haven't used diamond dust before, let me just give you brief information. So you want to put it wherever there's snow or wherever you want there to be snow. And we do use our specialist acrylic glue, something that the team loves, and just squeeze it on. And then you're going to take the diamond dust. Now this is the 3-ounce container, and you're simply going to dump it on top of the glue. And actually, you might want to put the glue down here, maybe onto the branches. So again, anywhere where you want that sparkle of snow. It could even go onto the pine branches back there if you like, certainly down here onto the holly. So you're going to dump it carefully on and then press it down. I like to press it gently. Then, okay, so that's what it looks like. And then you will tap off the excess. You want to put that onto a scrap piece of paper, so tap it off, and then pour the part that you poured off back into the container because it goes a long, long way. So then this, after this is dry, then you can go ahead and attach the back side of the acetate to the back of that panel, and you can glue it down. Now the other thing that Heidi did in this front of it, a couple of things. She took the red ribbon and she wrapped it only on the acetate. So just cut the piece, brought it forward, zotted it down, and then zotted a bow on top of it. And that's just kind of a nice finishing touch. It actually matches the red bow that's on top of the birdhouse. So that's a nice thing, but it gives you the 3D effect. So that's nice. Now the other thing that she's done, she went into our silver Merry Christmas dazzles, and there's 3 sheets of silver, and she's got the Merry Christmas down there. So I'm hoping that you can see it. You can see it very well in person, but sometimes on camera, those kinds of things get a little bit lost. Boy, you're getting a lot of the diamond dust, aren't you? Okay, now let's go into the inside of the card. And she has done the same thing that she did in the front, where she used the blue Adorable Scorable, but this time she cut another piece of the Snowfall Acetate, okay, this little guy, and placed it on top, and she only glued the center of it. She only glued the center because it's just fine for the rest of it to be loose because it's not going to go anywhere. And then when you put the glue there, you don't have to worry about it being hidden because we're going to put this piece right on top. And that's what the piece looks like directly out of the package. Now, we can get in a little bit closer and I'll show you. There you go. Thank you, Steve. So you see those kind of look like diamonds? Well, those are out of our red jewel dazzles. And Heidi has picked them up and placed them around on the berries right there, and also added one right here into that snowflake and into that bow. The baby, it's cold outside. Well, that comes from our Christmas greetings. Now this has got script, and it's also got the tiny words right here in multiple colors. In fact, there are 10 sheets in gold, silver, black, red, and green. So obviously she chose the red. And it's nice to have those little ones because they just fit in lots and lots of places. Now she could have knotted a ribbon to go up here, but instead she just added a dazzle, and that finishes the card. So really fun. Okay, now we have another card. Of course we do. And this card is using the cutting die. Now there's only one cutting die in this collection, And I honestly don't see red robins, but it is certainly Christmassy and festive and goes with all the other products. So this is what the cutting die looks like. There are 4 dies included, and I'll turn it over so you can see. So you get the wreath, you get the greetings, you get a season's greetings in a curve, and then you get a holly. So what Heidi has done is she has cut a piece of the red glitter cardstock. Now you get 4 sheets in a package. It doesn't shed, so you're not going to be wearing it for the whole day. And she simply glued the red piece to the front of her card. Now, she also then die cut the white glitter cardstock, and I think you can see how shiny that is. You can certainly see it on this card. And then she die cut the greeting from the white also. And you can see that the holly, she's cut 2 of those out of the red sparkle. So the glitter, the white glitter and the red glitter cardstock is just doing a really nice job. Now she also went back into that red ribbon pack, and Heidi does a really nice job with this. So you can see she's got 2 pieces and the ends are glued to the back. And then she lets them cross, and then she zots a ribbon on the front. So it just, and then this is a sheer ribbon, so you can see it kind of creates a diamond where they overlap. So that's just a very nice detail, I think. Speaking of nice detail, she has also used Hunky Dory's Christmas Sparkles, and she's got the amber ones in the center of the poinsettias, and she put a green one over here. I'm not quite sure, but it just kind of gives a little bit of green over there. For the inside of her card, she used one of the inserts, and it's this one. So you can see that she simply put glue on the inside of her card, placed this down, and then folded the card back and trimmed this to be the same size as the inside of her card. And that is the little season's greetings that comes in an arch in the cutting die. I really like it on top of that insert. Does a nice job. A little bow, again, out of the red, and another little Christmas sparkle right there. So that worked very nicely. Now, the cutting die is something extra, but there's also the stamps, and let me show you the shaker card that Heidi did. Now this is an oversized card, kind of hard to tell when I'm shaking it, isn't it? But there you go, you can see it. Now what she has done, so here is the stamp again, and again this is the Robin's Beautiful Bouquet, a little bit easier to see it there. Now she did stamp it onto the adorable squirrel, and that tan, let's see, so it's this color. So you're going to use the Versamark, and then she used, this is Sparkle Puff, which as you can see is going to give some sparkle, and of course it's going to puff up, and use this is embossing powder, so you're going to sprinkle it on and tap off the excess, return the excess to the jar, and then melt it with a heat gun. So that's going to work nicely. Now, she has some acetate here. Of course, you need something to hold the shaker pieces in, and that is going to be a piece of acetate. Now, you can use any acetate. Heidi happened to use the heat-resistant acetate. You can use anything because you're not going to be heating this. And what she did to create a frame on top of this is she took the gold cardstock and she used the rectangular set of dies. So she didn't need the scallops, but she took the largest straight and then the next one, put them together and die cut this frame. So that worked nicely. Then she attached with extra sticky tape, this stuff, the acetate to the back of the frame, okay? And then she put 2 layers of foam tape on top of the acetate, but she kept it hidden between that behind the frame. Now, one thing that you do need to be reminded is that because this frame is going to hold those pieces of shaker that I'll show you in just a second, you need to have the foam tape so it is touching all the way around, because if you leave a gap, this stuff is going to escape and you don't want it going everywhere. Now, what did she use in here? Well, this is from Buttons Galore, and this is called Blizzard. And you can see all of those sequins. So you see the snowflakes. And so you're just going to put like a pinch or two of those on top of this, and then position the frame on top so that it will hold them in. Then she used the circle cutting die to create this piece. She stamped and used the sparkle puff onto the warmest wishes, and then added the smaller scalloped right around it. Now, I just want to, while we're right here, I just want to talk about this for a second. We have a tool from Marvi Yoshida that is called a jewel picker. And if you haven't seen this, these are really handy. That's a piece of foam tape on it, don't worry about that. Okay, so what it has, it's a double-ended, and what it lets you do is pick things up pretty easily. Let's see, there we go. Come on, maybe it's easier if you dump them out. There we go. So this is what happens with the sequins. They kind of jump places. So you can pick them up and position them where you want to. So as you can see, hopefully, what Heidi's done is she's placed a snowflake, and then she's placed a sequin on top. So you would put a dot of a liquid glue, we like this one, put some dots down, and then add your snowflake in place. There we go. And hold that down with the glue. And then come back and do the sequin on top. And it just creates a nice layered look. Now this has a fat end, and put the lid back on it. And then it also has a narrow end, as you can see. So it just makes something that can be a little tedious, it just makes it easier. Okay, so we'll get these back in here. And we've sold hundreds and hundreds of these, by the way, so I think that's a good indicator that people absolutely love it, and we love it too. Okay, so going back to our card. Now what Heidi has used is Chantilly Lace. So this all has a very a lacy, pretty look to it, which I think is really kind of fun. Now, what she did is she used you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about this card base first. I kind of got off onto how to do that piece right here, but let's talk about the base. Now this is a center step card. Okay, so it's going to stand up just like that. You can see it on the side. But this is an oversized one, and she did this because this piece is so large. So what you'll do, and what she did, is she took the tan or the ivory piece of Adorable Scoreable, and she turned this into her card base. Now, what she has is a download for you. So it's like this. Now, our downloads in the United States are 8.5 by 11, but in England, everything is an A4 size, so it's bigger. So when you download this, and by the way, when you see the supply list down below, it'll be the last thing on the supply list, and then it will start the instructions. So it will say, place it bottom of sheet and center it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. Well, I'll leave it on this side. So what you'll do is place this at the bottom of one end, one narrow end, and you want to center it side to side. So because the 8.5 by 11 is wider than the A4, so you want to center it, and then go here. So part of it is not going to have anything, so don't worry about that. Then, as always, anything that's a straight line is going to get cut. Anything that's a broken line is going to get scored. So there you go. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 score lines. When you do that, you will end up with a piece like this. I'm going to turn it sideways so it will fill the camera. Steve, could you back up just a little bit? And then you're going to do some folding. So what we've done is you're going to fold that long piece in a mountain fold. You're going to do the two side ones in a mountain fold, and then the very first one in a mountain fold, and then the second one in a valley, so that you've got just a great big center step card. Okay, so this is going to be your base. Now, as I said, she has this very lacy look, and what she did is she went into Chantilly Lace, and that's a good option. And so let me show you how she used that. Okay, so this is your card base. So into the Chantilly Lace, this is the 6x6. I do need to tell you, she used both the 6x6 and the 12x12. So you make up your mind of what you want to use or how you want to make it. I'll just show you what Heidi did. So to cover the sides, she used a 6x6 piece. And it is this one with the lace. And this, the way she turned it, so I'm going to turn this over and show you. Okay, so here's how she placed it. Just like this. So you've got the lace next to the center, okay? And then, of course, it's going to get trimmed off. And you'll have exactly what Heidi has. Then on the other side, flip this over so you can see, she did, because you get 4 of these in the 6x6, so then this is what goes over here. And you get that lace again on both sides, as you can see. So I just want to show you that this piece is going to go here, and it's going to go here. Okay? Took me a little while to figure that out, so I want to share it with you. Then, for this area, this is where she went into the 12x12 and also on the inside of her card. If you want to stay with the 6x6, there's certainly a lot of roses in this Chantilly lace, so you could cut anything that you wanted. And what she did was to go back to those thin line dazzles, remember that we used on the first card? And she put them right around each of these little pieces just to finish that off. So that works very nicely. And I thought it was, again, interesting. We've got orange ribbon used on a Christmas card. Well, now we have brown ribbon used on a Christmas card. But you know, if it works, it works. So that's the way to go. On the inside of the card, she did cover it with this whole piece. And what she said is she took the patterned cardstock and simply laid her shaped card on top of it, and then drew around that and then just cut it out. It just made it so much easier. This big piece is also from the 12x12. Now, if you wanted to use the 6x6, you can adjust things however you like. Maybe taking a piece that's going to go here, and maybe you just do it in the center and don't do the ends. It's whatever you like. There's certainly enough paper in both of the selections. Now, the Thinking of You at Christmas, that's been stamped the same way as you did the shoe. It's been matted on the gold the same way. You can see the little pieces of the brown ribbon. And then this is also the thin line dazzles. So just doing a little bit of the blizzard sequins at the corners. So that finishes that. Now, I do have one more thing to show you. And this is that concept card collection. It looks like this. And I just wanted to show you briefly how to do this style. You can see some little ones right there, little cards. And I'll just show you one. So here is the finished card. And again, it has the Snowfall Acetate. It is snowy. And you can see how it is right there. And on the inside. So what you get in the kit, again, you're going to get make 8 cards. You're going to get complete instructions, so that's what we would expect from Hunky Dory. You're also going to get 2 pieces of the Snowfall Acetate, and then you're going to get 8 of these. This is going to become your card. So you can pop these out, and you'll have the card base. You'll also have the inside is empty, but you do have, just like this shows, you have the insert to go here, and then you will pop these pieces out, and you will put the Snowfall Acetate, and then you will have these pieces to put on top to go over that window that you've just made. This can get foam taped on top. You've got greetings and so forth to add. And then this is going to be that piece from the very front. So you're going to end up with an extra frame out of the front of this and an extra frame out of here that I bet you will find something very clever to do with. You can add these and just glue them on top, and there is your finished card. And by the way, this also has envelopes included, so you're going to get 8 envelopes also, so you get everything. So that's what Hunky Dory always does with the concept card kits. You're going to make the same style of card, but you have lots of embellishments, and you're going to make 4 different cards, 2 of each. So that gives you the total of 8. Okay, so that's what we have. Little Red Robin. We've got the concept card, we've got the topper set, we've got the matching inserts, and the matching adorable scoreable. And don't forget that beautiful die cut that I've somehow lost on my table. And in addition, there are the 3 stamps and the little book. All of this is all about Little Red Robin for Christmas time. Now, all of these, there'll be a money saver over on the right-hand side of your screen. All of the directions are down below, as well as you can see up close the projects that I've just presented to you. And that's it for today. We have all of this Christmas, and we're well on our way toward our Christmas card making. Thank you for joining us. You are the best part of Paper Wishes, and we'll see you next time.